Hey folks, John with A&J Outdoors, and welcome to another podcast / vlog. I've got a very special guest with me today. This is Mr. Oscar Castillo, also known as Shimano Pin on Facebook. And we go back a long ways. And if you do anything dealing with fishing in the San Antonio area, you know this guy, right? So welcome to the show, Oscar.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much for having me. We're excited to be here. Thank you.
He's busy. Look at him. He's sitting in the truck right now. Just got done driving from somewhere, getting ready to drive somewhere else. So
yeah, that's right.
So tell me a little bit about Fin Addict Foundation. If I'm somebody who's just new to it, I'm sure you guys got some kind of general, piece you put out there about it, but let the folks that are watching or listening on the podcast know a little bit about the Fin Addict Foundation.
So first of all, man, I truly enjoy the outdoors, right? I love fishing, a little bit of hunting, but really fishing is my main thing. And I was very fortunate at a young age to be exposed to fishing and to learn so many different ways of fishing and so many different styles of fishing. But with all this knowledge that I had gained at an early age, when I was going into my late 20s, man, I wanted to show people and I wanted to teach people. So going into my 30s, I decided to try to come up with a little group, right? And I didn't know what to call it, just in general, where I would have a name, and I wanted to create a name, and with that name, invite people to join this group with that name, and we would be all based on fishing. So because we fish for bluegills, bass, catfish, and the next day turn around and fish for sharks and redfish and trout, we came up with the name Fin Addict. Fin, right? Fin Addict. And so we started with Fin Addict, and we started going around and just teaching people fishing, how to tie knots, how to cast a rod and reel, and just share our knowledge. And then that was in 2011. 2015, we became Fin Addict Angler Foundation, and we started to do things on a larger scale, with the city and the state. I'm an area chief angler instructor with Texas Parks and Wildlife, and on and on and on, man. But yeah, I just wanted to share the passion that I have for fishing and everything else that comes along with it, like safety, stewardship of the land, and just knot tying and casting and stuff like that.
Yeah, how far back to me and you go?
Man, so I mean, golly, man, 2011.
Yeah, at least.
So 2011 is like when I came up with the idea, and then at that time we were using fishing forums. Mm-hmm. I didn't have like a I don't know if Facebook was even out. It probably was, but I didn't have nothing like that. And I was on the fishing forums, and that's possibly how we met and how we go back. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's been a really good ride. We've had your support, A&J Outdoors, your wife, everyone's support, since the beginning, and people think all the time, like, man, first of all, when they say like Shimano Pin, then that kind of tells me that they might not know me, right?
Right.
If they say Oscar, then, oh man, this guy knows me. But but yeah, man, we're very grateful to have you and your family support since day one, and everything that you've done, from A&J Outdoors to just personally, you've always included us. So, thank you very much for that.
Yeah, man. I think it was South Texas Catfish Association. Were you guys?
Yeah.
At the time I was running that, we had a tournament series, local tournament series. You guys, you and your sidekick, Albert.
Albert.
joined
Yeah,
up. You guys
Albert.
are fishing the tournaments with us. Yeah, Albert's
Yeah.
still there. You guys in the vlog will see some pictures later, and Albert's still his sidekick, right?
Yeah, man. Albert's still there. Sometimes I gotta look over my shoulder, make sure he's not in the back seat or something.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
but the old SPCA, man, that was
yep.
and that was a learning experience
Yeah.
for us. That was brought up through you guys. You know, again, man, we were learning like from you guys, and that
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
neat.
Shortly after that, you were and these you still do. So, Fin Addicts run some tournaments locally, and all three of them right now, I think, are still on Calaveras Lake. But they've
Yeah.
got a boat tournament, right, for folks that have boats
Yeah.
that want to get out on the lake and fish. They have a kayak tournament for all you kayakers to get out there. And Calaveras is that I've talked about this lake before, but it's got the freshwater. It's got redfish in it, even though it's freshwater, and of course the catfish. So those are the two most popular fish in there. There's some hybrid stripers in there too, bluegills and all that. But so the boat tournament, kayak tournament, and then they do a shoreline tournament that I think at one time it was like 72 hours or something. But I think did you trim it down to 48 hours or what is it now? The shoreline.
Yeah,
tournament?
it's 40 now, 40 hours.
40 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
We
long
keep
time.
trimming it
So
down. Yeah, we keep trimming it down as we get older, man. I think in about 15 years, it might be a 4-hour tournament.
I was going to say the same thing. So he's been doing those. You started doing those tournaments back around 2011, 12?
Yeah, 2011. You know, when we started the whole getting people together and introducing them to fishing, or possibly trying to help them learn more in a certain area of fishing for bass or sharks or whatever. We started to do the tournament, and the reason for the very first tournament we did was a shoreline tournament on the bank, 3 days. It was really designed to bring people together to fish on the bank, right? To bring some kind of unity, to really enjoy the outdoors, man. But to help each other. I'm fishing here, you're next to me, and so we wanted to bring people together. We did the shoreline tournament, and then the shoreline. I knew what I wanted to do, man. Back in 2011, I knew what I wanted to do in 2015, and so with Fin Addict, turning it into a foundation 5 years later, right? I was already building, you know, and that's a true story. So we started to do the shoreline tournament. 3 months later, we did a boat tournament, and we introduced ourselves to all the boaters, to all the guys who fish with the boats and the motors. And then 3-4 months later, we introduced ourselves to the kayakers, and it was all through fishing tournaments.
Yeah.
And so we were able, at the end of the year, we were able to reach every single style, you know, fishing on the bank, the shoreline, fishing in the boat, fishing in the kayak. So we were able to introduce ourselves to all those anglers. And back here in 2021, we just celebrated our 10th anniversary of doing the tournament.
Man, that's cool.
Yep.
And I think,
yeah, man.
I think you're the only ones that do any kind of shoreline tournament of that size and kayak. There have been other boat tournaments, but I think in all three, you guys are probably the biggest tournaments in town now when you have your tournaments out there, right? I don't know if there's any bigger tournaments.
Yeah, so there's no bigger tournaments. In 2011, you know, up until 2000 and around 2017, 2018, and when social media was starting to really explode, and everyone's fishing spots was put on there, everyone's honey hose.
Yeah.
But around 2016 and 18, with social media, people started forming fishing groups and clubs, and they started having tournaments as well. But ours are the biggest ones. Yeah, we have the most numbers, and every year, you know, it just grows and grows. And we're very fortunate to be in the situation that we are. Just finished celebrating our 10th anniversary. So
Man,
it's really neat.
you guys invite the old time fisherman that's been doing it for a long time, as well as that guy who maybe just got his boat and wants to get out there and fish. They're all invited.
Yes,
It's not, I mean, it's competition, but it's more like a, I don't know, a brotherhood. Everybody hanging out together. The weigh-ins are always a good time. You guys are cooking something. There's all kinds
that's
of
right.
giveaways because they weren't they weren't like making money off of this. They were putting everything they were getting right back to it as the giveaways and the awards and all that, and the food and everything else. So I think some people didn't realize that, but for the most part, people knew
And,
that was going on.
yeah, and you know, it was almost like an appreciation um, event. You know,
Mhm.
the money's not big. You know, half of the money we take to Fin Addict Angler Foundation. It's like a big fundraiser for us. Um, and so even though the money is not big, it's the camaraderie, it's the purpose. You know, we're raising money for Fin Addict Angler Foundation, and then with that money, we turn around and we offer free kids fishing clinics
That's what I want to
and
talk about next.
tackle. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
you
But
guys, the
I'll just say really quick. So the fishing tournament, that's where we started. You
yeah,
know, and then I knew what I wanted to do
and
years
I'm just
down the
glad
road.
you keep doing them because the Fin Addict Angler Foundation is a 501c3
Yeah,
nonprofit organization, right?
yeah, it
And
is.
he talks about he puts on fishing clinics. So him and his crew and a bunch, you have a lot of volunteers, right? And
We
they go through
do.
the
Yeah, we
Texas
do.
Parks and Wildlife course. I even went through it early on with you guys to get
Yes.
trained to be a Texas Parks and Wildlife educator, right? For
Yeah,
kids
and
for fishing.
yep,
So it's
exactly.
it's not like little Bobby, come here, pay some money. Here's a fishing pole. We're gonna cast it out and see if you can catch one of these catfish. It's first of all, little Bobby, it don't cost you nothing. We've got equipment. We've got stations set up where here you're going to learn about the ecosystem of a waterway. Here you're going to learn about safety when you're fishing. Here you're going to learn some of the simple knots to tie. The backyard bass game or
Yep,
whatever. That was my favorite. They
yep.
got these little bass out there and special rods where the kids cast out and then reel it in, and they'll have something
Yeah,
like a picture on it, and they got to tell you what kind of fish it is based on the classes they've been having. It's really a great educational opportunity. So again, if you're in San Antonio area, right, you got to look up the Fin Addict Angler Foundation. It's online. If you're watching this on the vlog, I'll have a link to it down below in the description. And
yeah.
if you have a child who maybe you're a single parent or both parents, but you just don't fish, didn't get to fish when you're growing up, but you want to get your kids involved, you talk to those guys and they'll get you set up with one of their events, right?
Yeah,
Right?
man, definitely. You know, our website is fanaticangler.org. You know, we're starting to really utilize that. And you know, in the beginning, we got a website and it had the basic stuff, but now it's really jazzed up. And you
Yeah.
know, every clinic that we put on is designed for that area that we're fishing. And so I'll tell you really quick. Um, when we were gonna first put on fishing clinics, we had you know, I hate to say you know, but I am the founder and the executive director, but this is never a one man show. You know, there's so
Yeah.
many people behind me and help me and have continuously helped me. Um, but we had to make a decision as to what route we were going to take with these fishing clinics. And this is for anyone and everyone out there in the world. You're either going to designate a pond or an area of the river with nets, and you're going to stock it. And what you do is you invite all these kids out, you give them a rod and reel with bait, they cast it in, they catch a fish, they're excited, and then they go home. So that was one way for us to introduce the kids fishing day. Or were we going to introduce like education? And so when we talked about education, I said, well, if we teach education, which is like stewardship of the land, and you know, first of all, we got to take care of our waterways and stuff like that, but safety and everything that we teach is so that they can come back the next day on their own or with their families or whatever and enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
So we had two options, and man, taking the second option was a no-brainer for me. I wanted to teach, kids and families how to tie two knots, the improved clinch knot and a Palomar knot. And that way you go fishing tomorrow and you break off, you don't have to go home. You can tie another knot and enjoy. And I also wanted to let you know about bees and ants and just your surroundings, so that, hopefully you don't get hurt and you can go home safe and come back the next day and enjoy it. Yeah. Same thing with life jacket. And so, some people ask me whenever we're going to do the clinics, is it stock? Are we going to catch? And, it's always a 50-50, but you will learn everything to be able to come back another day, another month on your own with your family, with your buddies, your friends, and enjoy a day out, outdoors. And to me, that was more important.
I agree. That's awesome. And so you guys, you started this kind of on your own, right? And again, you didn't have any major funding for this by, corporations or anything.
No.
And then we already said you got involved with Texas Parks and Wildlife, right? And you kind of do stuff for them now. And there's other, are there like county or city folks that you guys are working with now that want you to come in and do these events for them?
Yeah, so, one of our biggest partnership is with the San Antonio River Authority. And so, the San Antonio River Authority, I mean, that thing runs from downtown all the way south. Yeah. So, the River Authority actually keeps us on the road. We'll do 3 to 4 events in San Antonio at different sections of the river. But we also go to Floresville, we go to Goliad, Kennedy, and that's all the little towns that the river runs through. Nice. So, Texas Parks and Wildlife has been one of our biggest partnerships, but also the San Antonio River Authority. Mm-hmm. And we've done stuff with Walmart, and I mean, we're just growing, man. Academy, before the pandemic, Academy was one of our biggest corporate sponsorships. And then when they shut everything down, somebody else picked us up. So the greatest thing is that we never slowed down.
Yeah. So the pandemic put a big, I'm imagining, because I hadn't been to one of your events during that time, especially 2020. But did you guys just stop doing them, or did you have stuff, but you just, hey, mask up and stay 6 feet apart and all that? How big was that challenge?
So 2019 was our biggest year ever, and with all that comes like more responsibility and more financials, but we were so geared up for 2020. It was insane. And then the pandemic hit, right? Mm-hmm. And again, you have two options. There was three options. You would either shut down, you would go virtual, and try to have these classes online. And we were advised to go virtual, to have online tutorials, this is how you tie a knot. And this is, but online, there's a million things already online. Yeah. And I've always been a hands-on person. And so I said no to number one. I said no to number two. And number three was that, the greatest thing with this pandemic is that the pandemic was here, and it was very unfortunate the way it unfolded. But there was always rules and guidelines to follow if you wanted to do something. So if we wanted to have an event, 6 feet, right? Social distancing, hand sanitizer, and on. And that's the route that I took. So we never stopped. We minimized. We had to work twice as hard, because we would have one event with 300 people before COVID. Then when COVID hit, we were having one event with 50 people, but we had to do 6 of those, right? You know what I mean? To cover the 300. So we had to work harder, but that's what we do, man. I mean, that's, I wasn't going to stop. I wasn't going to go virtual. We were going to keep hands on. And the very first event that we did, our 8-foot tables were doubled up. We had cones, and we had markers, and we had all these gadgets out there, where to stand, what to do, and on. The very first time that we came back from COVID, which we only took like 1 month off. When the city shut down, we did shut down, and we stayed home and everything. But once the city said we could do this and that, I took full opportunity of all that. And the first event that we had was an actual boat tournament. It was a boat tournament.
No.
And I said, yeah, it was a boat tournament. It was a fundraiser that we had scheduled already. And so we came out, we set rules, we set guidelines, we had COVID questionnaires, we had hand sanitizer everywhere. And I didn't know which way it was going to go, but after we had the event, that weekend when the city opened up and we had the event, other events were canceled. Everybody was canceled. But when we had ours, man, we got so much praise as
doing something
to how well we handled it. Okay. And that was kind of, I didn't know which way it was going to go. I didn't know if they were going to be mad at me for having this event or they were going to praise us for having it, but properly. And we got praised for having it properly. And man, that's like a claim to fame because we didn't stop, but we did everything. Our overhead went up because hand sanitizer was $10 for a 2-ounce bottle or something. But yeah. We got it and we continued. And, it was good, man. Our fishing clinic, same thing, number one, outdoors, yeah. Number two, yeah. 6 feet social distancing. We followed the guidelines. So we never stopped.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So now if somebody wants to get a hold of you guys, they just go to Fin Addict Foundation.org or
so Fin Addict Angler, just FinAddictAngler.org is the website.
Okay.
And then on the social media platforms, it's Fin Addict Angler Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah. Shimano Pin, even though I tell my mom and others, my mom is the president of this. And so she keeps me in a straight line as much as possible. And, she says, you are fanatic. And I said, no, I'm not, but so on the Shimano Pin page, which is my personal one, I created that page 11 years ago. And it was to do only for fishing. And I was doing a lot of fishing, fresh and salt water. I use a lot of Shimano and I use a lot of Pin products. So I said, well, I'm going to call myself Shimano Pin. And that's how that started. But yeah, Fin Addict Angler Foundation on Facebook and on the website, FinAddictAngler.org.
FinAddictAngler.org. And I'll have links to all that down in the description below for the folks on the vlog. All right, so let's look at a little history of Oscar and fishing here, shall we?
Yeah.
There you go. South Texas Catfish Association. Who's that with you? Who's your fishing partner there?
Yeah, Albert. That's Albert.
Yeah. So Albert, if you go anywhere where there's fishing and Oscar's there, you're going to see Albert there. Albert loves to fish, I think, just as much, if not more, than Oscar, even, if that's possible.
Yeah. So Albert loves to fish more than me. That's for sure, more than me. So, I was dragging him along with what I wanted to do with the kids fishing, and he drags me along with what he wants to do, like the fishing tournaments and all that. Yep. So it works out. It's a full circle.
Yeah, it's a good partnership.
Mm-hmm.
So something else we had started. So when I was South Texas Catfish Association, being a veteran, I wanted to do something for veterans. So we started this is Warriors Day on the Water, where we'd bring out. We were going with the Wounded Warrior folks on Fort Sam, the first 1 or 2, and then after that we said let's open it up to all veterans, and it got big. STCA was unfortunately going away, and so I knew somebody would need to step up if this thing was going to continue. And Fin Addict Foundation, I'm looking at Oscar, I'm like, these guys are perfect because I know you have the passion to support the veterans, and you already have the capability. So not only are you running those 3 tournaments a year out of Calaveras, but once a year you're still doing I'm not sure if this is the same title. This is back in 2015, but you're still doing a Veterans Day or not tournament, but get together, right?
Yes. Yeah. So we're still doing it. We eventually changed the name because the Warriors Day, it was very similar to like the Wounded Warriors Project,
Yeah,
right? So
they didn't like
we
that.
had to, yeah. So that was really frowned upon, even though this, you know, at the time, I mean, this was it was just, it's always been a great idea. It was a
Mhm.
happy-go-lucky event. There was no intention to piggyback off of no name at all. But
Exactly.
yeah, so we changed it. And it's military vets on the water, and it's man, it's grown. There's so many people involved. That help us cook and
Yeah.
donate, and we still have some of the same.
Boat
Um,
captains.
so, yeah, oh yeah, man, boat captains are unbelievable, and we still have some of the same ones from when this first started.
Yep. Absolutely.
John David Stone and those guys
Yep.
still contributing, still helping the Paralyzed Veterans of America. They and we got it. So back then, way back then, the lake would let us get like the participants in for free, and
Yeah.
then they got away from that and they started charging full price. So when that came about, I started to get sponsorship, and so we have a landscaping company that sponsors money, and a transportation company, and it's been really neat, man. The Paralyzed Veterans of America have helped us every year, and it's been neat. Yeah, we never stopped, man. It's
Yeah.
gotten bigger and bigger, and that is actually a awesome, well run event that
It
we
is.
just continued, that you guys had started.
Yeah, and it's the gist of it is the veterans show up that morning. There's a bunch of boat captains who volunteered their time. Some of them are fishing guides, even. They're there with their boats. We put these veterans out on these boats. They bring some family with them if they want. They go out and spend a whole morning fishing. They come back ashore. There's barbecues going, right? Usually a big barbecue. There's all kinds of donated gifts, right, given away to the veterans. So if you're a veteran in the San Antonio area and you're interested in getting in on this, right, again, there's no cost, right, to the
Well,
participants. So um, again, go to the Fin Addict's website. It'll be down below in the description below, and they have somewhere where you can communicate with them. Just send them a note. Let them know you'd be interested in the next time they're doing it. You just had it on Veterans Day this last year, right?
yeah, yeah.
2021.
So we
So
always have it the weekend after Veterans Day, and I believe Veterans Day was Thursday, right, this
yeah,
year.
so it
So
moved
we
it.
had it that Saturday, 2 days
Yeah.
later. But if you go to our website, finaddictangler.org, I was gonna say, so on the website, finaddictangler.org, our 2022 calendar is up, and this event is on there already for November of 2022. So you can sign up. You can follow our calendar, and anyone listening is more than welcome to participate. We're going to be in Rockport this year. We're going to be in Houston. We're going to be all over San
Very
Antonio,
cool.
Corpus
Very cool.
Christi. So yeah, definitely. And yeah, I want to say one more thing really quick. There's another program that I'm involved with, and it's called Heroes on the Water.
Yeah.
And so if you go through, if you get a hold of me, and I can lead you in that direction as well. But that's every third Saturday. We go fishing every third Saturday.
Very cool. Is
So
that kayaks or
so so that is mainly strictly kayaking, right? But we do have other events. So in March, not too familiar with the date. It's on our calendar, but we're taking veterans to the hatchery, Flower Bluff. You guys could sign up for that too.
nice?
We have private access to the hatchery, Texas Parks and Wildlife Hatchery in Flower Bluff. I give a tour
That's
with
cool.
a biologist, and myself will give a tour of the whole process of redfish, trout, and flounder. And
That's very cool.
yeah, man, I like these
Very
pictures
cool.
though.
Yeah,
These are
look at
so.
that. So this is one of your tournaments. At the time, I
Yeah.
was running A&J Outdoors, my tackle store, right, online. And so I was a sponsor. And then in the background there is the real boss. Right? There's Mom. All right. Keeping him straight. So you can see this is a little while ago.
Yeah, man, for real.
Now, who is that young lady?
Man, that is Cynthia, and we are at the Beethoven Hall at a German festival. And no matter what, no matter what we do and where we go, man, we're always wearing Fin Addict.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, so you do fish the salt?
Oh yeah, man, and that's what a lot of people call the rocks. We're fishing on the rocks, or the jetty.
Yep. Jetties.
Yep.
Yeah, you got. Of course, that's Albert with them.
There he is, man. He's usually holding the bigger fish.
Oh, there's the boss.
My mom. Yeah, that's my mom. She goes everywhere with me.
Yeah, if you go to one of these tournaments or one of these events and you see Oscar, know that Mom is there somewhere too.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah. There's an example of some of the stuff they got set up at one of the events. We're just going to pop through some of these pictures here. Some trophies, right? That's back when we were a sponsor. Don't use that web address on my sign there because that one's no good no more. Oh, now this is a STCA tournament. We got Oscar putting in a catfish. So this was South Texas Catfish Association. So these were all catfish tournaments in the area. And this was, looks like it was Calaveras. There they are again.
Yeah. Fishing all year round.
All year. Hey, I recognize that old truck.
Yeah, man, for real.
That was the truck of Fin Addict for years, right?
Yeah, I still have it.
You still have it?
Yeah. Yeah, I still have it. I still have that rack, and I still have that water jug. Yeah, inside that water jug is actually lemonade.
Nice.
But yeah.
Oh, now a little bit fancier gear there. Look at those shirts.
Yeah, Albert's idea.
He's got some good ideas.
He said, man, we need to look like a team.
Yeah.
I said, man.
There you are with your kitty cats. Oh, a couple trophies. Says 2013 on there.
Man.
You remember where you guys placed? Were you first, second, or third? What were you?
No, I don't. Man, you know, like we were consistent in second and third place, and you know, we were fortunate to get like the team of the year, you know, at the end, and like that other picture before, you know, we always went out and we went for the 3 and the 4 and the 5 pounders. And after we caught some of those, then we went for the big ones. Because for us, the big ones were usually a hit and miss. Yeah. So we'd, you know, go big or go home. But we always had, you know, a good 15, 20 pounds out of 3 catfish to back it up. If we didn't hit that 50 or 40 pounder, 30 pounder, 20 pounder, you know, and so, so I mean, you know, we had a couple of first place finishes, but, you know, we had a lot of second and thirds, but, it was good, man. It was good. I think that was like team of the year.
That plaque right there says first place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was good.
All right. Do you remember what? Well, you got a sign behind there, but this was a youth angler fundraiser. So we had to use kiddie poles to fish this, and you see, I got a trophy there. So I came in third place. My boat actually, if you remember, took. Because you're an individual competitor on each boat. It's not a boat as a group. My boat took first, second, and third in that little tournament. You never did another one, too. I had a good time with that.
Yeah, so that was a really, really good event, you know, and that's when, around that time is when our wheels started spinning, like, you know, we were just going to have fun and we were going to promote what we do and so many different things. And we use those character rods, for fishing.
Yeah, kitty rods.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Old trout on the Guadalupe River.
Yeah. He doesn't just fish. All right, so this was one of your boat tournaments that me and Joel were in. We didn't place, but we got a couple nice cats.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to share something else with you here. Do you know the background of Zebco, the fishing reel?
Um, well, so I would say no, but
Hmm.
well, is this what are we on the vlog or what?
We're on the vlog so they can see. I'm gonna bring up a page that'll show us a little bit about it.
Okay, well, I was gonna tell you something really quick. It's
Go
just
ahead.
a funny story. When I was in high school, I was going out to the dance halls, and I would tell the girls that my name was Oscar Zebko. And nobody knew what I was talking about. And then they would go home and say, "Man, my dad has a Zebco. My grandpa has a Zebco."
You must be rich.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for real.
the first, so there in 1932, I'll bring this up. In 1932, the Zero Hour Bomb Company was a maker of electronic time bombs for drilling in Oklahoma, right?
Yes,
In 47, a watchmaker in West Texas uh, came up with the idea of that Zebco fishing reel by watching a meat counter clerk pull string from a fixed spool, right? So we got a bomb making company and a watchmaker. He
yes.
pitches it. He pitches it to the bomb company, and they built the first spin cast reel, and that was back in 1947. Is that
Dang,
crazy?
man.
So it was a company
Yeah,
that made bombs that was made the first that built the first Zepco.
yeah. So I knew about the bomb company. I
I
just
did.
wasn't too familiar with the years. With
Yeah,
47.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
man.
So that's a website. That's Zepco's website history piece. So I'll have that linked in the description below. You can go through. There's a lot more information on it, right? I just wanted to show you all that. Now this one. So this is finacangler.org. So that's your site, right?
That's our website. Yes.
Okay. So you have events, you have volunteers, because all this stuff is done by volunteers. So even if you're not want to participate in events, if you want to help them, you see the hey, it's good to teach kids to be outside and do stuff outside instead of cooped up in a house on Twitter or whatever, then you can help that way, right, Oscar? They can contact you guys and volunteer to help you out, right?
Yeah, when we first became nonprofit, we had to create a board, and so at that time I was surrounded with all of my fishing buddies, and so all of my fishing buddies were on this board, and it's my mom has always been the president, but and Albert is the vice president, and then we had our other buddies as a secretary, treasurer, on, and within months I knew that my fishing buddy was not a secretary and that my other fishing buddy was not a treasurer. So we had to revamp and get people that specialize in that field. And
Mm-hmm.
so our clinics are the same. We have registration, we have awards. And so it's not just fishing. There's so much that goes involved.
Yeah.
We need chaperones. We need
Yeah.
chaperones for the groups. So we get ladies and gentlemen that are longtime librarians or retired teachers. They come out and they help us with registration and paperwork and just it takes a lot, man. It's
Yeah.
more than just fishing on the
Yeah.
river or
Exactly.
the ocean. So yeah, so our volunteer list is long, and we welcome everyone of all ages. And it doesn't matter your physical abilities. Like we will make an effort to have you in there.
Yeah.
Whether you're in a wheelchair, I'm on the American Disability Act with Texas Parks and Wildlife. So I'm a committee member, and so
Very
man,
cool.
we're constantly trying to find ways to utilize people in wheelchairs and help them with their needs. Whatever they got going on, I'll
Yeah.
help you get out there
So you
for
can look
sure.
right over here. You can see proud partner Texas Parks and Wildlife. There's a button right there if you want to just volunteer, and there's a button to donate because again, it's a nonprofit organization. So They operate off of the funds they raise through their tournaments and stuff, and through donations and sponsorship. So if you got the you want to help them, but you don't, for whatever reason, can't get out there and do it, send them a buck or two. They'll appreciate it, and it'll help too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, man, most definitely. You know, and right now at the moment, and since day one, we are 100% volunteers.
Yeah.
100% volunteers. No one draws a paycheck or anything at the moment, and so that's the way it is, man. If you can help us with marketing or anything, you know,
Yep.
I mean, we're only as good as the people that we are surrounded by.
Exactly. And they right on their website, they've got some of the folks that are helping them out. Kielbasa, usually you're cooking that at the tournament, at the events, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Fish bites, I'm familiar with fish bites too. So again, if you got a small business and you're in a situation where you want to help out a nonprofit, this is again another great nonprofit that gets your kids out of the house, away from the computers and iPads and all that, and gets them outdoors, right? Which is important for them.
Yeah, and that sponsor page, you know, when you look at it, it's so diverse.
Yeah.
You know, you have Mulder fire protection, you know, and so it's I mean, United Doors, but they just believe in us on another level.
Yeah,
You know,
it don't have to be fishing related to be involved.
No, you know, and so Celanese, they have a big old plant out there in Bishop, and they help us tremendously with our veterans events and stuff like that. And so we're very fortunate. And then, you know, this is like a sponsorship page, and as you know, almost like anything else, as you grow, man, things change. So this, you know, this amount of sponsorship right here is nothing compared to all the sponsorships. I mean, we have people that give us $1, and you know, I've been grateful for every single thing. And one time, one of our events, I said, if you donate, you know, $50 or more, we'll put you on the T-shirt. And for one event, we had 40 something. So my print guy, he was so mad at me, man. We tried to put, you know, I think it was a high of 48, 49, and I was like, oh my God. So, you know, we had to put like some rules and regulations. If you would donate a little bit more than that, then you get on the shirt.
Right.
But that's kind of where this sponsor page comes from. You know, these are some of our really large sponsors, but man, there's so many other people behind this. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
All right. So we're almost going to wrap this thing up. I got another question for you.
Yes.
Cooking.
Yeah.
If you're going to cook something, right, that's something that you like to cook, you like to eat, whatever, what's top of your list on what you want to cook?
Oh, man. Golly, man. So,
come on, you can do it.
Yeah, I know, right? That you know that, man. That is a stupid. So I would tell you one thing. Before Fin Addict Foundation, we used to cook barbecue cook-off, right? And this is before social media and all that stuff. You know, so we traveled and we did barbecue cook-offs, and so I've always loved Texas barbecue. But man, because of the people that we are, I mean, you know, I don't know, man, because I love everything from Mexican food to seafood to barbecue. Man, that is a super tough question, and I think, God dang, man, I really wish I could answer it, dude.
All right,
I don't know.
I'll break it down for you. Tomorrow, you're feeding 30 people with one meat and a side.
Yeah.
And you have 18 hours to do whatever cooking you want to do.
Yeah, I would have to say brisket.
Texas.
I mean, I would have to say brisket, man.
Heck yeah.
You know, I would have to say brisket.
There's always good food at your events. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, and really, it depends. If we're having an event, man, I wonder if we can do this. Like, say, if we're having an event in the springtime, we will do a lot of like fish sandwiches, stuff like that. If it's in the
Ooh, nice.
winter, if it's in the fall, going into the winter, man, we do like menudo and we do caldos and we do stuff like that.
Nice.
Really hot, warm food.
Hmm.
In the summertime, we do a lot of the kielbasa sausage and just I mean sausage wraps or tacos and we mix it up, But I mean, we love ribs and I love chicken too. I love
Yeah,
it all.
I
I
love
love it
food.
all. Yeah, I know, man.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's
All right,
right. And
go
yep.
ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and along with all that cooking comes like all of the necessities to cook that food, right?
Yeah,
So we have a smoker and we have a deep fryer and on
griddle.
and on a griddle.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, we learned about the griddle way early on.
yeah.
Um, before the griddle, we used to travel with the 55-gallon drum, and then we had pans, and there was so many different cooking utensils. And once we got a griddle, that was the only thing we traveled with for a
Yeah,
long
I remember
time.
that. I think you guys are the
Yeah,
first ones I seen using a griddle like that.
yeah, long time ago, and
Yeah,
we'd have fajitas or hamburgers or chorizo and egg, whatever beans, whatever you want, man, you
yep,
can use on the griddle. Yeah.
exactly. So you're gonna eat good. All right. So again, thanks for joining the vlog. And you got any last things you want to say to the folks out there watching the video?
Yeah, I just have to say, thank you. Thank you to everyone that has gotten us this far, and thank you for listening and watching this deal. And any time that we are in your area, feel free to stop by. Everyone's always welcome. We always have a place for you if you want to help or if you want to participate, because that's what we do. My mom, um, she has 3 kids, and so I'm the oldest, and my sister is the middle one, and she works at the Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, and my brother, my only brother, he's younger, he's a firefighter, and so like all of us were I think we were all born or made to serve the community, man, and that's what we do. My mom's a nurse, over 40 years, and
Very
so
cool.
everyone's always more than welcome to come out. Yeah, for
Very
sure.
cool. Yeah, I give that 100% on my end too. They always are accommodating, welcoming. You show up, there's no attitudes or anything. It's just everybody's welcome. It's always a good time when you go to one of those.
Yeah,
Um,
and if you are like John, and cleaning out your closet and you find a little box of hooks and weights and bobbers, call me, man, like he does.
yeah, absolutely. Anytime I'll get together stuff that I just know I'm not going to use, right? For over the year, you
Yeah.
buy all these awesome lures and all that. And then a couple years later, you're looking at the stuff and it's like, I've never used any of this stuff. And so I'll put all that together. And like you said, I'll call him up and say, Oscar, I got a bunch of fishing stuff. If you want to come and get it. And
Yeah,
he'll
that's
do it.
right.
Yeah,
And if
absolutely.
you're out of state and you want to send it to us, man, I would gladly pay for shipping or whatever. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right, man. We're going to wrap this thing up. I want to thank everybody who
Yeah, thank
stayed
you guys.
around and watched. Appreciate it. I want to thank you, Oscar, for joining me. I appreciate you joining me here. And we will see all you folks out there at the next one. So,
Yeah,
peace
definitely.
out.
All right, thank you.